and welcome to another video with me, Yoga. Okay, so I'm be doing a new video series on the physical, and like my last series on oneness and equality, it is about picking something, anything of this world, and showing the physical point behind it, or that actually is existing right there. And like the oneness and equality videos, this is completely unprepared. There's no preparation. I don't even have a topic set, because the physical point and the oneness and equality point are actually, in a way, the same point, in that, well, you'll see for yourself as you investigate for yourself, but at the very least I will say that I can pick something from this reality and show the physical point that is there. So let's pick something challenging for fun. Let's pick like a thought or a belief, like I am not good enough. That thought. What is the physical point existing there with that thought? Now, okay, well, the reason why it's challenging, I'll explain if it is obvious, is because people perceive things that are abstract concepts like thoughts and thinking, imagination, as something that is not physical, as something that's not tangible. You can't touch it, you can't see it, you can't smell it. And so, how could there even be a physical point that can even exist in relation to a thought? Like, I'm not good enough. How is it even possible? It's impossible, right? Well, let's see. Let's see if we can do the impossible here. So, one thing that I can see very clearly is that when a person has a thought, there's a person having a thought, and that person has a body. They're physical. They have a physical body, and they have like a nose and eyes and ears and mouths and a head and everything, and hair and whatever. And they're the one thinking that thought, that I'm not good enough. Therefore, I am asserting that it's impossible for any thought to exist outside, in separation of a living person like myself, like a body. It's not like thoughts are out there, I can see a thought or hear a thought like out there in the air or in some environment or in the faraway distance. No. When I have a thought, it's in my head. And even then, I'm not even able to hear other people's thoughts. When I hear a person, they're speaking to me. They're using the voice. They're creating physical sound by using the vibration of their vocal cords, and that creates a sound wave that manipulates the air and creates a wave that travels to my ear, and then my ear listens to it, my whole body processes it, my brain processes it, and then I'm able to perceive it. So that's not a thought. That's actually something physical. It's a whole physical process behind that. And with thoughts, what is the physical process behind a thought? Well, obviously, like I already said, that I'm having the thought. I can't hear another person's thoughts. I have my own, so that's a physical point. But if you wanted to, you could even look even deeper according to what science so far knows, which is the process of the brain. What goes on in the brain, where there are studies done with people who have brain damage, and if they have a brain damage, they do tests on them, like, well, first they can see what parts of the brain are dead, and then they will take a person and they will do studies with them where they ask them questions or give them tests or puzzles, or basically find out what they can and they can't do, and for example, if you have a person who has a damaged part of the brain and that affects language, then they're not able to speak or whatsoever, whatever a thing may be. And so, there is a whole physical process going on whenever you're thinking, right? Within your brain, there's a process going on when you're thinking about things. Even when you think, I'm not good enough, there's a whole physical process involved in order to create an experience of what you feel. That they measure they can see on a cellular level. And of course, they don't know everything. They don't know all the details of it. They have just a rough picture, I think, right now. But that tells you at least something. That, like, your brain has living cells that are responsible for holding on to information, like language. And a thought is expressed within words, and those words are stored within the brain. They have like individual cells that are responsible for holding on to information. That's all their purpose is. So it's literally a physical thing, something that's alive, that eats, that poops, that has a life of its own, that can even die from not having any oxygen. That's all part of the brain. And so that is something that is alive, that can be affected, and that can even be destroyed. So that's already one level of the physical involved right there. And that's so much more than we actually really consider in our daily lives. And if you want to go further to look at the emotional experience behind a thought, like I am not good enough, within that there's a whole creation involved within that. I mean, you could, if you were to be self-aware enough to feel your emotion behind the thought I'm not good enough, it's like a constriction on your stomach, like your digestive system. You can feel pressure, you can feel your heart, you can feel maybe heat, or like heat flashes, or itchy skin, or irritation, or like a shortness of breath, or other physical pains, or abnormalities, which is happening on a physical level. And so that's involved. That's a whole nother level involved within having a thought. And so, all this I've shown so far shows tremendously that a thought has this whole physical interconnection and like relationship involved. It doesn't exist separate from the physical. It's there with the physical. It's having an effect. You can measure it physically, and you can sense it yourself physically. It's here, and it affects your body in a physical way. It'll have an effect on your body. And so, yeah, there's my challenging point for a thought. What's the physical point behind a thought? So there we go. And let's see how much time. Maybe we can try a quick one for something else, just to give another example. The physical. Let's look at money. Money as numbers. Okay, so let me try to explain this. Okay, so obviously you have the cash form of money, which is like paper notes. Literally, it's paper you could take and you could burn in a fire. It will burn and get destroyed. You have the metal coin version, where you could literally take the metal, bang it up, also burn it and melt it into something else. It's something that's physical. And then you have the number point, like bank accounts, which is digital, but that digital recording is also physical memory, just like your brain, which could be hard to see, so I have to explain that. So for people who don't know, a computer is a physical thing. It has electricity, And oddly enough, your brain and your nervous system uses electricity as well to communicate, and the electricity of your body relies on chemistry in order to create electrical currents. And well, the computer is different. It relies on, well, some batteries rely on chemistry, so in that regard it could be the same. I could explain that as well with how the chemistry works, electricity, but that you could Google pretty easily. Just Google the brain's electrical currents, how does it work, or how to create electricity through chemistry. You'll find the information there eventually. You could look at brain neurons, how brain neurons create electricity, or something like that. You'll find something. Anyway, so where were we? Okay, so the computer, it's something physical. It uses electricity. It uses disks. It uses physical space. It uses like a memory, which receives like a physical imprint, like a memory, just like your brain. It creates a memory, and it stores the information. They're like a physical, like a footprint. It creates like if you take a disk, let's say you scratch it, there it's like recorded, right? Except here, it's the computer is able to do it precisely in order to record the information. So, what else? I mean, it generates heat, just like yourself. You generate heat with your body. So, without getting into any technical computer languages here, I'm just trying to show you how a computer is a physical thing, right? And so, with this physical thing, you can record information like numbers. And numbers, which is symbols, which we all have an agreement upon what they refer to, just like language, which is all symbol based. It's all symbols. Like letters are symbols, numbers are symbols. They're all just symbols. And so with all of that, we can record and decide what money is and who has it. We just have to have an agreement. And also a way to protect the information so it's secure, reliable, and trustworthy, and doesn't like change instantly from one moment to the next for no reason. It has to be like a reliable amount, or like a representation of amount. And so here we have money in the physical forms, in the physical way it exists in the world. If you were to take all the computers of the world all at once and destroy them all, there'd be no record for any electrical or digital currency, right? Unless you had it stored in some memory drive or something, which we're now assuming that all those get destroyed. And there's literally no trace. There's literally no money then. All you have would be the cash and the coins. Same thing too, if you take all the cash and the coins, you destroy them all. Again, the same point. And so money is a physical thing. It's there. And it's something that's represented by the physical. It doesn't exist outside of it. It doesn't exist in separation of it. It's right here. And, with money, you could even extend that to other things like symbols and language and books and, letters. You write letters and numbers with could be like with a pen or a pencil or pen or with paper, or you could even just draw it out with random objects or make shapes of numbers or letters using objects like sticks, or whatever. You can draw things, you can sign them, you can use your hands and make like a sign language symbology to communicate. So all this relies on physical things, whether it's sign language using your hands, or speaking which uses your mouth, or writing using your hands and another object to create like an imprint on something like a paper, or writing a computer and that creates like a memory in the computer and it displays it. So all this, it's all physical. It's unlike any of this exists outside of the physical reality. Even our brains work in exactly the same way. How we work, it's just like a computer. It's an imprint. It's a memory. It can be changed. It can be manipulated. It can be turned to something else, which is a whole other fascinating topic, which I just thought a really cool example to tell. But I should wait to another video for that. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here for now and check on for the next one to learn more about the physical reality. It's right here. Thanks.